You saw the headline? $410 million. Chinese-led network. FBI blitz. But how do you hit 140 locations at once without tipping off a single courier? In the next minutes, we reconstruct the week-long surge that froze $31 million and seized 12.4 tons of narcotics. Step by step. Stay with this because we'll show you how armored trucks breached cul-de-sacs in Gwinnett, why ATL became the network's new headquarters, and how a Norcross warehouse labeled as ink toner hid $14 million in cash, and how it all came down in less than a week. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. How do you hit 140 doors at once without spooking a single courier who can wipe phones and cash in 10 seconds? You build a window so tight that every hinge turns at the same second, and you make every target believe it's a normal morning. The mission wasn't to grab one lab or one courier. The objective was to neutralize a $410 million network by collapsing labs, brokers, and cash nodes in a synchronized strike so fast that the phones couldn't warn anyone and the vans couldn't sprint for the state line. The risk sat in the open. One tip-off at ATL or in Duluth, and the network scatters. Encrypted chats light up. Couriers dump product in storm drains and forget the handsets in microwaves. Cash vans ghost the industrial parks and slip into residential garages. So the plan had to mute every alert. No noisy arrests before the hour. No seizures that changed traffic patterns. No patrol car lurking near a warehouse that ran on exact schedules. Targeting started weeks earlier inside an Intel Fusion cell that stacked DEA, FBI, HSI, GBI, and local feeds into a single pane. License plate readers pulled repeat hits on vans circling the same cul-de-sacs near Gwinnett storage pods. Customs manifests flagged odd consignments. Low-value goods shipped with high freight costs. Utility data showed power usage spikes at midnight in townhomes that never hosted a party, but somehow burned amps like a bakery. Each thread alone meant little. Together, they drew a grid. Sites moved from of interest to red-labeled when the scoring matrix stacked up. Precursor shipments landed at odd ports and rerouted by truck. Shell company ties ran through Nevada mailboxes, Delaware-registered agents, and Hong Kong trading firms with shared directors. Solvent orders spiked without a matching business need. Cash deposit patterns surfaced at salons and spas that did weekday business like it was a tourist weekend. Multiple sub-$10,000 drops spread across branches and neighborhoods. Red labels didn't just mean a knock. They set the order of entry and who got hit in the first 5 minutes. Before the sun, teams ran a comms rehearsal. A shared operations clock synchronized every unit to the second. Radios stayed quiet inside geo-fenced bubbles to prevent bleed between targets. Breach codes staggered in waves so a blown door in Johns Creek didn't echo to a warehouse line in Norcross. Air units checked holding patterns against noise maps so nothing hinted at unusual activity. Even the nearest hospitals and tow services were pre-briefed under bland cover stories to avoid disrupting the operational rhythm if a crash or stall blocked a route. Why Atlanta? The numbers pointed there. Industrial solvent imports surged by triple digits, and not just at the ports. Air cargo traffic offered direct flights to Asia and Oceania, with lower scrutiny than West Coast routes that flag certain chemical profiles. Warehousing costs and the sprawl of light industrial parks created room for small, clean operations to hide among normal tenants. Distribution lanes ran from the airport to the suburbs and out to state lines without a single choke point that forced all eyes to one place. In the final hours, the contrast was stark. Gwinnett cul-de-sac staged for armored entry with low-key vans that blended with landscapers. Midtown cash fronts clicked on their counter-surveillance. Mirrors angled at the street, a bell on a rear door, and cameras that fed to a private cloud. The TAC map pulsed red, and the clock ticked down. At H hour, 140 sites went live. Teams pivoted on a single code word. Inside minutes, labs were secured, servers cloned in place, and couriers boxed in driveways before messages could fan out. The net held because every exit was already a wall. With the doors blown in and the radios clear, the next problem stepped forward fast. Follow the money that pretended to be ink toner and office supplies, and cut the flow before the accounts woke up. Why would a warehouse full of ink toner in Norcross need reinforced drum lids and a double ledger? Because the freight wasn't moving printers. It was moving dollars that had to look like inventory. survive a border check, and pass an insurance claim without a human ever opening a box. The backbone of this network was money flow. Ghost LLCs filed from mail drops. Cash first fronts that opened early, closed late, and reconciled after midnight. Freight that treated dollars like product. Stackable, barcoded, and scheduled. The same trucks that showed empty dispatch logs pulled weekend runs under different DOT numbers. When fuel cards pinged, the ledger marked toner outbound, while a shadow ledger tracked who got paid and when. Every entry aimed at cleaning origin, hiding control, and pacing payments to keep chemicals on the move. Launderers adapted faster than street crews. Pull one shipment too early, and Guangdong brokers got silent. Squeeze a salon's account, and a sister LLC in Delaware assumed the deposits by sunset. One wrong seizure told the whole chain that heat landed in Atlanta. The goal was to isolate nodes without ringing the bell. Freeze money mid-transfer, not at the counter, and lock accounts while the phone still said funds pending. Layering started where small bills stacked. Nail salons and spas across Duluth, Chamblee, and Midtown skimmed cash into tills that outpaced foot traffic. Deposits got split below $10,000, routed through branches that never saw a face twice in 1 week. From there, wires moved to shell logistics firms that recorded the funds as inventory purchases, matched to invoices that used generic terms and recycled SKUs. Each cycle cleared another layer of origin while matching timings to cartel payment windows, padding the trail with receipts that looked ordinary on a quick read. Case files showed scale. 53 freight containers over 2 years. Drums that should have carried cleaning agents instead carried vacuum-sealed cash masked by solvent residue. Bills rode inside liners, packed to beat sniffers and shielded from spot checks. When agents cut the seals, the air stung like chemical storage, and the stacks came out dry, tight, and numbered. The digital side kept the books straight while keeping eyes off the banks. Settlement notes lived in WeChat and Telegram, not an email. Brokers maintained mirror books, one for shipment, one for payment, linked by QR payoff codes that changed weekly. A Duluth courier named Ha Mingchen moved between meetings with a phone that never kept chats longer than an hour, and a roll of codes that cleared at a set clock. Payments jumped apps, then landed in accounts registered to companies that existed on paper and little else. Norcross told the story in one sweep. $14 million recovered from boxes labeled as ink toner. Bills of lading claimed light cargo. Insurance declarations argued a different value and risk. The mismatch tripped an algorithm trained on commodity-to-weight ratios, and the flag set off a deeper audit that tied dispatch records to shell firms offshore and a local shipper with no real client list. As the doors went live, highway teams boxed vans near the state line. Seized phones opened relay points that linked Johns Creek and Alpharetta to handlers near the airport. Names and contact lists led to routing tables. Routing tables led to accounts queued of day sweeps. One surge froze $31 million. Banks locked transfers mid-flight. Secretaries of State suspended ghost firms. A CH Pathways got blacklisted. The chemical orders stalled because the money lost its legs. Those numbers tell one story. Cutting the cash exposed another. How an industrial footprint grew inside neighborhood homes without a sign on the door or a dumpster at the curb. Precision wins. Freeze the cash spine, and the cul-de-sac labs go silent. The network depended on ghost businesses and shell companies to move money, not loyalty. When those arteries lock, chemicals stop shipping, brokers stall, and couriers lose purpose. That pressure matters here because overdose deaths in Georgia have surged past 2,900 in a single year. Here's where you come in. Learn the tells. Leases signed by shell firms, odd freight that never matches invoices, and cash-heavy fronts with split deposits. Report patterns, not rumors. The blitz landed hard. The supply chain is the fight. Want the follow-up on ATL's weak spots? Say so below.